Chris, did you ever play past the junior varsity level of basketball?
Well, I got asked to leave the varsity team. So, yes, I did play varsity basketball, but I got asked to leave.
And why did you get asked to leave?
Creative differences with the coach.
And what kind of creative differences?
He thought that I was probably a little bit better at football, and they were like, we don't want to risk you getting hurt and taking your time, so we need to get you out to run track and play football. So they said it's probably the best thing for you.
DC ain't even make JVT. I love it.
I 100% did, and I was asked to leave. And, there's a lot of people out there that know why and that can stay. It's not something we need to dig up.
It was fighting was involved, if I'm not mistaken, correct? You beat somebody. Basically, you bullied somebody.
I was a lover, not a fighter, and I have the daughter to prove it, so.
Welcome to Big B Daily. No frauds allowed.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Big B Daily Show. This is your man, Big B, Brien Hanley. What is happening? Appreciate everybody being here on this Good Friday. I like it. What is happening, man? Got a lot to go over today. Again, we got the fraud of the week. We'll decide on who actually is the fraud of the week this week. Then we got the top offensive lineman of all time, or top offensive tackles, I should say, of all time. Let me rephrase that. Top offensive tackles, NFL free agency, what the power rankings are, who won. We'll go over a little bit on who lost, all that good stuff and more. Welcome. Like I said, we are live on TikTok. TikTok, continue to tap the screen. We want as many people in here as possible. 5,000 likes and at least 30 new follows. Dago, thank you for the gifts. And that kind of brings me to this real quick, just some housekeeping stuff. If you guys like what we are doing here, you guys like the show, like what we're bringing out to you, anything that you guys would love, we would love for you guys to support the show, to help keep pushing these things out to you, man. So I appreciate it. That goes for TikTok. Any gifts, more importantly, subscribe. That would be excellent. You can always pick up the gift, the March Madness guide, and we'll talk a little bit more about that a little later. On YouTube, Super Chats is also a way to subscribe the show, or to support the show. So we appreciate everything that you guys give, man. It helps us keep pushing them out to you. So we appreciate all of that stuff. So let's just dive into this thing, man. Let's get after this. So, fraud of the week. I mean, here's my personal opinion, and this isn't necessarily even sports related. I think it's the U.S. Congress trying to ban TikTok. I think the fraud of the week is the U.S. Congress trying to ban TikTok. Now, let me kind of breach that a little bit. First of all, if that's what they're going to do, and I don't know. I mean, it passed the House. I don't know why it wouldn't pass the Senate. They're basically trying to force somebody to sell something, which I think is nuts. But if they do, look, y'all just come on over to YouTube. You're not going to miss on the show because we are live on YouTube. So the one thing about it is that it's the show can be the visuals a little bit better, a little more professional. It's just different. But I think a lot of people that come over from TikTok to YouTube, they like it better. So that's the one thing. You get access, you get access to some other stuff. And what I mean by other stuff, you get access to a thing we do. I have another podcast. It's called Instant Replay. Comes on Tuesday nights with me and a guy. We talk a lot of sports, pop culture. It's super funny. A lot of people have tuned into that. So you guys make sure that you guys come over. You'll definitely get access to that. Just subscribe. So another thing is you get access to some other stuff. And what I mean, we get access to, I don't know, podcasts, interviews, Hot Soup Fantasy Football. He's over there, LTB Sports. You get access to all the things that they're doing. So those are other platform channels that you wouldn't have to even go subscribe to. You can get all of that just by subscribing here. So we appreciate everything that you guys have done for us, man. My man Hooligan sent over a super chat, man. We appreciate it, man. He says, really appreciate your show and sports outlook. Keep doing your thing and growing. Let's go Steelers. P.S. YouTube is better, says my man Hooligan. I'm just telling you, TikTok. He's saying it for you right there. He's saying it for you right there. He's been here from pretty much day one, and he can give you the honest take. We appreciate that, Hooligan. Thank you. And thank everybody else, man, for you guys being here. But I think the fraud of the week, like I said, I think it's the Congress trying to ban YouTube. That's just my personal opinion. I think it's ridiculous. I don't know. Again, I'm not political. That's not what this channel is about. Trying to be political. But I mean, if they ban this and try to force somebody to sell something, which I don't know what, like, why would they sell it? I mean, it's worth tens of billions of dollars a year. I don't know why they would sell this thing, but they're basically trying to force them to sell it. Then it becomes, well, who are you going to make buy it? That would be my thing. What if, because if they don't like the Chinese, okay, well, what if some other Chinese person wants to buy it? Then what? And you're not going to say that? You're not going to allow that? It just seems eerie that this would come to pass. It's just nuts. So it's just nuts. And that's another thing. Somebody saying, why aren't they banning Facebook and Meta? Because it's American owned. If that's what we're coming to, my God. Either way, anybody that's worried about that, which I think you might be able, or maybe you should be, come on over to YouTube, my people. Just click on the link. Give me a follow if you're not following already. Click on the link tree, and that'll get you over there. That'll get you over there, and you can subscribe. More importantly, click the link tree in YouTube anyway. That'll get you to the Big B merch. You can pick up your March Madness guide. You only got a few days left, man. Get those March Madness guides. They're $5 on the ebook. Very easy, man. It's simple. $5. Download it right to your phone. And if you subscribe, which I would suggest that you do if you're on TikTok, you get it free. All you got to do is use the promo code. Very simple. Very simple. So, yeah, this whole thing is nuts. Like I said, I'm not a political person, and I'm not trying to get into being a politics or anything like that. But, oh well. Let's get back to sports, people. Let's get back to sports. So, let's get back to sports. So the top offensive tackles of all time. Top offensive tackles of all time. I think my list is pretty precise. And here's a list. Usually I don't fight people on lists. This is one I'm going to fight you on. If you don't agree. We're going to argue. We're going to argue on this one. So let's start with number 5. Orlando Pace. Orlando Pace. Somebody said the Pouncey brothers. Man, you got to watch more football. But number 5, I got Orlando Pace. Okay? I love it. Orlando Pace played for the Rams for many years. Outstanding. Anchored that offensive line. Orlando Pace at number 5. Number 4, Willie Roaf. Was a dominant, just dominant run-blocking left tackle. But you couldn't get around him as a defensive end, as a rush in on the left tackle. You could not get around him. He posted you up. One of the stronger offensive tackles that were out there. One of the stronger offensive, because if he got his hands on you, call it curtains. Call it curtains. Willie Roaf. Number 3, Walter Jones. In my opinion, Walter Jones might have been the most athletic, and when you combine athletic and power, he may have been the most athletic and powerful left tackles that was out there. Look at this. My man Darren Howard 10 years in the NFL, he says, I hated all of them. And it may have been because they threw him around like a rag doll. I don't know. I would be watching my guy. I'm like, come on, Darren. Come on, bro. Come on, man. And that's all I could get out. That's all I could get out. Come on, bro. Just kind of like you're rooting on the guy that you know is getting whipped. I'm like, come on, man. Come on, Darren. I felt bad for him. I felt bad. It was ugly. But Darren was good. Those guys were just that much better than everybody. It's crazy. It was crazy. Number 2, Anthony Munoz. And a lot of people think Anthony Munoz is number 1. I don't know. I like Munoz. He was one that actually we used to watch film on when I was in college. He would have, and not just, it was educational films, not just his game tape. It was education, hand placement, feet placement, drops, pass set, all that stuff. First 2 choppy steps. You got to get the first 2 steps. That was big for him. The first 2 steps meant everything. If you don't get those right, you lose. And he didn't lose often, if ever. And then the last one, and I say the last one, but number 1, the best offensive tackle, in my opinion, is Jonathan Ogden. I mean, Jonathan Ogden had hands the size of gorillas. Not only that, he was 6'8", long arms. You just couldn't get to his body. You couldn't get to his body. And he just held you off. He just held you off. You could not get her. I mean, I talk about people you couldn't get around. You couldn't get around Jonathan Ogden. You try to run wide, and he'll just string you out. You try to dip inside, that powerful inside, you're not getting inside. And I think that was the thing, is that he could force you wide because he was so tall and so long. Whew. I don't know. Where do I have Baselli? Tony Baselli, here's the thing. Baselli was really good, but he got hurt and didn't play long enough. These tackles all played 9, 10 decade, a minimum. Baselli didn't do that. He got hurt. Joe Thomas is another one that I considered putting in there because Joe Thomas was really good. But those are my 5. Ogden 1, Munoz 2, Walter Jones 3, Willie Rowe 4, and Orlando Pace number 5. Like I said, I like Joe Thomas. And Joe Thomas and Orlando Pace, I went back and forth on. So, because they were really, really good. Really good. So, I appreciate it, Zach. Anybody got any issues with the list? I mean, Joe Thomas and Orlando Pace, you could put 1A and 1B. Joe Thomas was that good. I know he played for the Browns, and maybe a lot of people don't think, hey, Joe Thomas was outstanding. You never heard of anybody just dominant. Oh, man, they're getting rush pressure on the left side. Not in Cleveland, you didn't. So, my man said, Dan Moore, stop it. Don't piss me off this early in the morning, man. We're having a good day. Ogden, yeah. Where's the power ranking? We'll get to that. Pace, number 2. And here we got Braden in here talking about Jawan Taylor. Yeah, Larry Allen was a guard. I mean, he played tackle a little, but he was mostly a guard. Oh, super chat from my man, Dakota. What's going on, my man? Thank you. I'm not mad about that Sam Howell move. We have a young QB, younger than Penix and Nix, to develop. Howell got that dog. Sam Howell. He's talking about the Sam Howell trade. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that yet. I'm going to pull up something here. I'm just not sure. I mean, let me ask you this question. Do you think that Sam Howell is the future in Seattle? That would be my question. Do we think that he's the future in Seattle? I don't know. I don't know. But you are right, though. He's younger than Penix and Bo Nix. So if Seattle was thinking about taking either one of those guys, you got a guy that's younger. That not only is he younger, he's got experience in the National Football League, which is invaluable. So if that's the case, it makes more sense. It definitely makes more sense. And then you can spend that pick, instead of picking those guys, you can spend it getting your team better at other positions. So my man Dakota24, thank you again for the super chat. We appreciate it. But yeah, I actually love that take. I love that take for the simple fact that you can develop a younger guy with experience, didn't have to give up a high draft pick to get that guy. So Seattle, making moves. Love the move. Love the move. So let's just get right to the power rankings right now. That was a good segue over into our next segment here. Let's go right over into NFL free agency, because I figure we're going to talk a lot about this. So the first thing is, who won free agency? So far, who do you have winning? And to me, I don't think it's up for debate, really. I think the Texans have won free agency so far. I think the Texans have won free agency. With the moves that they have made, they shored up their defense, which is what they needed to do. They got Joe Mixon. Now, look, I'm not high as some people might be on Joe Mixon. I'm not that high on him. But he's better than what they had. They lost Singletary. He's better than what they have. So I think people get caught up in certain things about, well, he's not good, he's not great. You got to be able to separate the two. And what I mean by that, if you don't like the move, but they got better, then it has to be an upgrade. It's got to be a positive. You know, if those guys are better than what they currently have. Perfect example of that. You guys will call me a homer. Fine. But the Steelers got better. Whether you like Russell Wilson or not, Russell Wilson is better than Baby Hands Pickett, Mason Rudolph, and Mitchell Trubisky. He just is. Period. End of story. And they didn't have to pay him a bunch of money. The Steelers upgraded. They got better. Patrick Queen, whether you think he was good just because he was playing next to Roquan Smith or not, fine. I'll give you that. But Patrick Queen is better than Quan Alexander, Holcomb. He's better, and Elon Roberts. He's better than the linebackers the Steelers have. Not to mention they're all hurt, but even when healthy, he's better than they are. The Steelers upgraded. So that's the difference. So they're better. They're better. Atlanta got better. Now, some people are going to say that the Falcons, it was a huge overpay for Kirk Cousins. Everybody overpays in free agency. So everybody gets overpaid. Everybody. So there's no argument there. However, are you telling me that he's not better than Ritter? Come on, man. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Of course he's better. And for the people out there that are screaming Justin Fields, first of all, you don't know what Chicago was asking for him. And number two, you're definitely not positive that Justin Fields can play. You just don't know. We haven't seen him be consistent in this league. You have seen Kirk Cousins be consistent. No, he hasn't. He's only won one playoff game. So, no, it hasn't translated into postseason wins. But you have seen him win football games consistently. You haven't seen that out of Justin Fields. And whatever circumstances you want to put on it, fine. But we still haven't seen it. Atlanta's better. So I got the Texans They're number one. I only did 3. Texans, the Eagles, and the Titans. I think the Titans have a real good chance of being good. I think the Titans have a chance to be good. They got Pollard on offense. Is he Derrick Henry? No. But they got Pollard, and then I can't remember the other running back's name that they drafted last year out of Memphis. But they have both of them, and he looks good. So they got 2 guys that are going to be good. Yes, Spears. They're going to be good. I think they found their problem. Now, I know Will Levis. People, well, I don't know about Will Levis. And that's a key. We don't know. But you know what we do know about Will Levis? He had some moments last year. He had some moments. You know, and if they can fix that offensive line, he's going to have even more moments. So Mason Rudolph is his backup. Now, you can say whatever you want about Mason Rudolph, but when Mason Rudolph stepped in Pittsburgh, the Steelers got better. Now, that's not saying much because, again, baby hands Pickett, it is what it is. And Mitchell Trubisky, Lord have mercy. But he's better. You know? So they upgraded the room there. Because Malik Willis is not going to beat out Mason Rudolph. So that's not going to happen. So Will Levis, they're going to be better. But the key is Calvin Ridley. I mean, if Calvin Ridley can play, even if he plays like he did last year, which some people are going to say is good, bad, whatever. If he does that, you team him up with Burks and Hopkins. We talked about this yesterday. How many people have a better wide receiver room? When you count 1, 2, and 3. You might have a better 1. You might have a better 2. But do you have better 1, 2, and 3? How many teams? You can't get the 5 that have a better wide receiver room than the Titans. You can't. There's not 5 teams. Now, does that mean that they're going to be the best receiving core? Because if you have 2 guys and they play better than those 3, that's different. All I'm saying is they have the best receiving core 1, 2, and 3 in the league, in my opinion. Or if they don't, you can't get the 5 teams that are better than that. Braden, come on, man. This is not a Chiefs podcast. You got to stop that, bro. You got to stop. People in here are starting to get frustrated with you. You got to stop, man. You got to stop. But we love what the Titans have done. We love it. I just think that they've upgraded. Now, let's talk about some losers. Let's talk about who just had horrible, and I mean bad offseason so far. The Bills. The Bills, I mean, they're in salary cap hell. They've gotten rid of a ton of people. And they didn't get any better. The Cowboys. Although I do like the move with Kendricks. I do like him because they didn't have a linebacker. They were using safeties to be a middle linebacker, which is never going to work. That's never going to work. You know? The Broncos. The Denver Broncos. They got worse. And then I would say the Chargers. I mean, the Chargers. I would say the Chargers. Look, I get that they kept, Khalil Mack. They restructured his deal. Joey Bosa, they restructured his deal. But they basically got rid of their receiving core. Mike Williams, Mike Williams is always hurt. Somebody said Quentin Johnston. Quentin Johnston is, if he's your number 1 receiver at any point in time, even though this is the offseason, your wide receiving core is horrific. Lord have mercy. Keenan Allen, they traded last night. And it's almost like the Chargers were trying to do it in the middle of the night where people wouldn't notice. And again, now let's just get into this point of this real quick, people. And this is why I'm always going to be pro player. And I don't understand why more fans, the majority of fans, aren't pro player. I don't understand it. It baffles me. Here's what they did to Keenan Allen. They signed him to a deal. Okay, fine. He's got a new contract. So this is the last year of his contract. I think he's supposed to get $18.1 million. Ownership comes to him and says, hey, we're in salary cap hell. We need you to restructure your contract. We need you to restructure. Take less money is what they're saying to him. Take less money. Keenan Allen's like, absolutely not. I mean, I went to the Pro Bowl last year. I was one of the top 10 receiver last year as far as production-wise. I'm not taking less money. Forget it. Why should I? I negotiated my contract. You guys agreed. Pay me my money. And they said no. Or he said no. And then, okay, well, thank you. We're going to trade you. Screw you. We don't, because you won't take less money. We're just going to trade you. Now, can somebody please explain to me why ownership would do that and why anybody would be on the side of an owner that does that? If they just didn't want him anymore and they're saying, okay, we don't want you, we're going to move on. You haven't played very well and we're going to move on from you. Fine. And then they call a player greedy because the first thing that they say about a player is honor your contract. You're just a whiny baby. These are a bunch of spoiled millionaires. And all this man is wanting to do is just play under his contract. And they came to you. For instance, if your boss came to you and said, hey, we love you. We want you to stay here, but you got to take less money. You would be on the first thing smoking to get another job somewhere else. And you had a contract to make it. If you had a contract and your boss said, hey, man, I'm sorry, but we got to restructure this thing. Sorry. It's just insane. But nope. Give me a break. Then we got David Gonzalez says the reason most fans aren't pro player is because they follow the teams, not the player. We root for the guy as long as he's in our jersey. The second he's gone, we root against them. That's not why people are anti-player. That's not it at all. Because that guy can be on your team, but if he holds out for money, he's spoiled, he's entitled, he's not a pro guy, he's not pro team. All of the bad things, he's selfish because he's wanting as much money as possible. That's what fans say. That's what fans do. That's why they're anti-player. They take the ownership side. The minute a player wants his money. But on the flip side, if an owner says, you know what? We don't want you anymore. I know you have a contract, but we're going to cut you. I know you got a contract for 2 more years. Sorry, doesn't fit into our plans. We're cutting you. Then what? Are the owners? Then it's just business. Hey, man, sorry, it's just business. It's just business. Somebody's going to have to explain to me. I don't understand. I'll never understand. It's idiotic. That's what it is. It's idiotic. For you to be on that side and say, hey, it's just business. But when can't it be just business for the player? Lord have mercy. And this is what my man Braden says. Got to do what's best for the team. I don't care if they get the bag. That would be the perfect example of exactly what I'm talking about. Whatever's best for the team. So can't the player do what's best for him? Or is he selfish if he does what's best for him? I mean, it's only about the team. Do what's best for the team. Screw you workers, because that's essentially what a player is, a worker. Screw you guys. Jiminy Christmas. And that's the problem. That's the problem. This guy, Braden, who's an insane Chiefs fan, doesn't care about the players. He literally said that on TikTok. I don't care. I mean, that's what he said. He literally said that. I don't care about the players. The only thing that I care about is the team. That's what I'm talking. This is literally what I'm talking about. So, gee, many Christmas. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And then again, if a player happens to hold out for money, they're selfish. I don't get it. I don't get it. Sheesh. I, for one, would leave my job if another company was offering to pay me more money. Players can do the same thing. Boom! Yes! Sing it from the highest mountains out there, my man Pat Cockrell. Yes! That's why all these New York Giants fans are absolutely insane that are mad at Saquon Barkley. Lord have mercy. Let me get this straight. You have a guy who's telling you, hey, I've been here for 6 years. I want to end my career with you. The Giants are saying, nope, we don't want to pay you. We don't want to pay you. We're not going to give you the money to stay. So go do whatever you want to do, but it ain't going to be here. Okay. So then he goes somewhere, and now you're mad because he went to your rival? Somebody that was willing to pay him? He's a traitor. What? In what world is somebody a traitor for going to somebody who's willing to give them the money that they're looking for? So if I'm a dentist and a rival, and I don't own my own practice, and a rival company comes to sign me, let's not even say dentists, because a lot of dentists are more self-employed. Let's just say if you're a computer programmer, or better yet, if you work for Microsoft, and I work for Microsoft, and they're saying, hey, Brien, I'm only going to give you X amount of dollars. And Google calls me and said, hey, Brien, you can do the exact same thing for 25% more than what you're getting at Microsoft. I know you work at home at Microsoft. You can work at home at Google. Who's not doing that? So, Mark Munoz, we're not attacking you, brother. Oh, that's all I'm saying. You can't be mad. You can't be mad at somebody for getting more money for doing the exact same job. But yet, fans equal fanatic. Lord have mercy. And I'm not even saying, look, I'm a diehard Steeler fan. When people leave my team, I don't want them to do well at all. I think I want them to be horrible, matter of fact. But I'm not mad if they left for more money. I'm not mad at the reason that they left. I'm just mad that they left. And maybe we didn't want them anymore. Okay, there's that too. But I am always going to be pro player because I'm pro me. I want to be paid as much as I can possibly get paid. And I'm not going to be mad if somebody pays me or says, you know what? We want you to take more money, Brien. Nah, you know what? I don't want more money. I don't want more money. I want less. I want less. I mean, just think about that at your job. Have you ever said, hey, I'll take less money? I know you're giving me $25 an hour. Give me 18 for the company. For the company, I'll take 18. You know, whatever the company needs, just give me 18. I'll take a $7 an hour pay cut. Doesn't matter. Give me a break, people. Give me a break. And the loyalty to your team is not a problem. My man Darren Howard says, don't expect fan loyalty. They love their team no matter what. And I do too. You keep your allegiance. I'll keep my money, no hard feelings. I'm going to keep my allegiance, but I'm able to separate the lunacy behind it. I'm able to separate a guy left for more money or the team didn't want him anymore, and he went and took more money. If he goes to my rival, he goes to my rival. We got to figure it out. Sheesh. So that's all. That's my thing. That's my gig with all this free agency, man. Free agency is my time to go absolutely off. So on this subject, fans got to stop being delusional. They got to stop. And I say we have to stop. I'm a fan. We've got to stop being delusional and just start being fans and understand it's a business. And if it is a business, there's two sides to business. There's not just one side to business. There's always two sides to business. Understand both sides and everything is fine. But then when you start calling one side, oh, they're spoiled millionaires, they're entitled, they're playing a kid's game, which that's another thing that always drives me insane. They're playing a kid's game. Huh? I mean, I don't see me as a kid when I started playing football. I didn't say, you know what, I'm going to risk my life and limb. And I understand that's what they sign up for, but don't tell me it's just some kid's game. A kid's game is Monopoly. So, but it is what it is. I'm going to get off my soapbox because you guys are mad at me. How about them Bears? Man, the Bears, have the Bears had a sneaky good free agency after we thought that it wasn't good? Have the Bears come back and said, you know what? We got some things figured out. And here's what I'll say. Doesn't it look more and more like the Bears are going to keep Justin Fields at this point? I'm going to throw that out there, Bears fans. Doesn't it look like the Bears up to this point are saying, you know what? We're going to keep Justin Fields. And we're not going to trade. We might trade this pick back. Now, I don't think they can go too far back. But if I'm the Bears, I don't know. I think the Bears is drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. number one. Is that horrible? I don't think it's horrible. I don't. I think if they did, I know you don't want to take a wide receiver number one, or do you just want to take the best player number one? I still think they do that. Now, if they could trade back to like 3 or 4, then I think, yeah, you do that. Because then Harrison still comes into play. But if you have to trade back to like 8 or 9, I don't know. Here's the thing. If you trade back, now they can't trade back to 9 because they are 9. But if you trade back to with somebody like Oakland, you can still fix your line per se. But it gets dicey on whether you can even get a top receiver. So I just think you take Harrison 1 at 9, you get you a lineman, and then boom, you keep it moving. That's what I think you do. But if you trade back, be prepared not to get Harrison. Now, don't get me wrong, wide receiver wise, there's a lot of them in this draft. A lot of them. So it seems to me that they might be setting up to keep Justin Fields as their quarterback. That's just me. So my man Rob Johnson, Bears about to ruin another QB. I mean, he ain't lying, people. The Bears have done it. I mean, I'm just under the impression you've got Fields. You don't even really know what you have in Fields until you've given him an honest opportunity. You don't even know what you have. And the reason that I say that is because look at Bryce Young. You don't know what you have in Bryce Young. You can say that you do, but you don't. The man got beat up all the hell and had no weapons. Same thing with Justin Fields. Got to fix that interior. Got to fix the line in general. Give him another weapon. Give him a chance. My man Braden says that on TikTok that Fields isn't the problem in Chicago. Yeah, I agree. Or we don't know if he's the problem. I'm not even saying that he isn't the problem. We just don't know because you haven't given him an opportunity. Haven't given them an opportunity. Here's a good segue here, people. Again, Monday through Friday, Big B Daily, live on TikTok, live on YouTube. People on TikTok, keep tapping the screen. We've hit the goal of 5,000 likes. Let's get it up to 9. Let's get to 9,000 likes. We need at least 30 new follows. So anybody in here not following, please give us a follow. We appreciate it. And more importantly, people, click on the link in my bio and come subscribe over to YouTube. Whether they get rid of TikTok or not, which it looks like they might be on their way, you're not going to miss anything. The live is a lot better. Again, you get access to more things on YouTube. For instance, Hot Soup Fantasy Football is over there. Remember, we were doing those segments during the football season. You get access. You don't even have to subscribe to his page, although you should. You sign up with Big B, you don't even have to because all his stuff is on there. Let's Talk Ball Sports, or Let's Talk Sports. LTB Sports, I guess is the real name. I apologize. They're over there. They've got a lot of sports content, interviews, podcasts. I have a podcast that comes on Tuesday night called Instant Replay. All of that stuff is over there and more. Instant Replay is funny. It's me and a guy that I went to college with. I've known for 25 years. We talk sports. We talk pop culture. It's hilarious, and it gives you insights into sports too. So come on over and subscribe over there. A lot of people on YouTube will tell you that the live is better. So again, anybody, and we appreciate the support that we've gotten today in supporting the channel, but anybody that wants to continue, if you like what we're doing, this helps us keep bringing these things out to you, man. All the super chats, the gifts, the tip jar that's over on in Linktree. Click on all of that to help continue to support the channel if you like what we're doing. Like I said, it helps us to continue to bring these things out to you. My man, Tyler Benjamin Rickerson says Caleb Williams is the most hated player coming out in college I've truly ever seen. I don't know if that could be a more true statement because I think you're right, Tyler. I think Caleb Williams might very well be one of the most hated people coming out of college. And maybe it's him. A lot of it is his dad putting all this stupid stuff out in the press. Because some of the things that he gets a bad rap for, like people were mad and saying that he's not a man because he cried after they lost the game. To me, I'm like, well, why are we upset with that? We've seen grown men cry in the National Football League after they've lost the game because it meant that much to them. Well, do you want a passionate guy or do you not? Because to me, that just shows passion. You know? I mean, are we mad that he's showing passion? But what do you want? Do you want passion or no, he's a crybaby? I mean, you know, I think he gets a bad rap. Now, for some of the stuff, like he didn't work out at the pro day or at the combine. Do you know how many guys haven't worked out at the combine? Well, he didn't give any medicals to everybody. Well, again, what he said, his reasoning behind that was everybody isn't going to draft me. We're going to give the medicals to the teams that bring me in and for the people that can draft me. Why do I need to subject myself to all of this? Isn't that good business? Again, business. So, isn't that good business? I'm just throwing it out there. So, I like Caleb Williams. I think he gets a bad rap. But some of the stuff, I don't know. I did like the whole ownership of his team. That was his father putting out something stupid. You know, I don't know. It is what it is. And saying Chicago doesn't want him, Tyler, first of all, we don't know that. But even if they don't, so what? What difference does that make? So the team with the number 1 draft pick doesn't want you. But what if the team with the 2nd draft pick, they want him? There's worse things in the world. Don't be that guy. There's worse things in the world. So, worse things in the world than that. My man Rob Johnson on TikTok, they won't. If Justin Fields still sucks, Ryan Poles gets fired. Yeah. That's the whole thing about Ryan Poles. He got to make a decision. Either you put your reputation and your job on Justin Fields, a guy you didn't draft, or you draft a new quarterback. So we'll see how that works. I don't know. I don't know. If I'm him, I stick with Fields. Because I think we don't know if Fields can play, but I think he can if you give him the right stuff. And the Bears are in position to give him that stuff. So, my man Hooligan says, if they can trade back with the top 8 and get another second or third for their efforts, yeah. I don't believe the gap is very big between Harrison, Uduza, and Neighbors. I don't think it is either. And that's a good point. If they can trade back and get one of those guys, the problem is can you, depending on how far you go back. So, can you? So, we'll see. We'll see. Look what Fields did with DJ Moore. Yeah, he was fine. Man said fraud of the week was the Titans. Are you saying defense or definitely? Because I don't think the Titans are frauds of the week. The Titans got better in free agency. So, and you're right. Braden, you're right. If Caleb Williams happens to be everything that people have said he's going to be for the last year and a half, then Chicago will look stupid. Well, if your team is still good and they become relevant, who cares what Caleb Williams is? So Caleb Williams could be the best quarterback, that the league has seen come into the league ever. But if you win your division and make the playoffs, isn't that what you want? So the Bears got better. The Bears got sneaky good. So the Bears got sneaky good. And Tyler, Caleb Williams didn't say look at highlights. What he said was go look at the game tape. That should tell you everything that you need to know. He didn't say look at highlights. He said go look at game film, real actual film of him throwing, which he's right. He's 100% correct. You want to see what are you going to do in Indianapolis or even in a pro day that's better than watching game film? The answer would be nothing. There's absolutely nothing that you're going to do in shorts, throwing against air, no pass rush, that's better than watching film. And part of that film is seeing him playing a horrible game against Notre Dame. That's out there. Now, granted, his line didn't help him, but he played lousy. So it's not like everything on his game tape is spectacular. It isn't. It isn't. And he's saying, go watch it. Come on, man. Don't be that guy to try to beat up on a kid just because he doesn't do what everybody wants him to do. He's doing what's in his best interest. Isn't that what we do? What's in our best interest? Why isn't he allowed to do the same thing? So, do I think that Caleb can throw the ball better than Justin Fields? I don't know, Ricky Bobby. Fields got a strong arm. Fields has a strong arm. So we'll see. We'll see. It's interesting. My man Hooligan says, especially since the combine and pro days are scripted throws. Pretty sure everyone already knows he can throw the ball. Exactly. I like the Marvin Harrison Jr. approach. He's not even doing a pro day, I don't think. He's like, I'm not running any 40s. I'm not doing anything. I'll meet with teams, but I'm just going to work on my craft. There's nothing else that I'm going to do that you haven't already seen. So why go run a bunch of routes on air against defense? In shorts. Why go do that? You guys seen the tape. Either you think I'm good or I'm not. And if and Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison, they have nothing to prove. Like, if you think that Caleb Williams is the number one pick, by all means, he's going to be the number one pick. But all they're going to do is try to tear you down, which to me, it makes scouts do their job even more. Because there's going to be this guy that comes out of nowhere, the Zach Wilson type, that he makes a throw on air, then all of a sudden he jumps up to number 2 in the draft, and the man can't play quarterback in the next level. But the Jets took him second, and he literally cannot play quarterback in the National Football League. He can't do it. He's horrible. So there's always that guy that pops up. Always that guy that pops up. So, no, Tyler, nobody's saying that you should be able to do what he does, my guy. But you're talking about with his past. What past does he have? He had some bad games. But throwing against air isn't going to change what you saw on tape. Just like throwing against air isn't going to show you the good things that he did on tape. None of that is going to change. So what would change? Hey, man, I saw this guy. He was awful against Utah. But you know what? These scripted throws at the combine, he threw well, so I'm going to change my mind. If that's your philosophy as a scout or a coach, you shouldn't be doing it. Now, granted, I'm not saying the combine doesn't have its place, because there are things that they should do at the combine or can do at the combine, and it is necessity for other guys. But if you're at the top of the heap, all you can do is hurt yourself. If I'm number one and everybody thinks I'm number one, boom, that's what it is. Dakota, 24. Terrell Dodson to Seattle, number 1 rated linebacker via PFF. Huh. Tyrell. Did that just happen? Yep. Well, is he the best linebacker, though? I don't think so. But I like the move. And again, thank you for the super chat, my man. And he was good in Buffalo. That's the thing. He was good in Buffalo. Buffalo lost a ton of linebackers to injury last year, by the way. Lord have mercy. So, Yeah, and that's the thing, my man. Yeah, Triton being goated. Soon as you said PFF, I don't care. Here's my thing about PFF, man. Look, I think those guys do a decent job, but some of these PFF grades, I'm just like, because look, I knew a guy that actually worked for them, and it's a bunch of guys, a bunch of nerds that get in there, and based on what they look at and what tapes and what criteria is set for them, that's kind of what they put out there. Now, some of the grades are okay, they're fine, but I don't put a ton of stock in PFF. I just don't. I just don't. I would rather trust my eyes and what I see than based on some kind of metrics that's set up for them and they grade it. So that's just me personally. Did I see the Texans and Vikings trade? No, I did not. No, I did not. You put that in, people. I did not. Something brewing? Oh, the first round pick, and then they get a couple of seconds. I did see that. I thought you meant a player trade. Minnesota's trying to get better. I don't know what Minnesota's doing at quarterback, though. Sam Darnold? I don't know. I don't know what they're doing at quarterback. Obviously, he's not the future, but so am I interested in the Tyson fight? No, I am not. No, I am not. I am out on Jake Paul. Look, if it's not scripted, let me ask you all this question and we'll get back to football. But if that fight, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, is not scripted, does Mike Tyson kill Jake Paul? Like, literally, does he kill him? Because you know Tyson, he's going to do all that head movement to get inside. He's going to the body, and then he's throwing an uppercut. Does Jake Paul survive if it's not scripted? Even at 57 years old. Even at 57. You know, I don't know. That's why I mean, it's a sideshow. A 57-year-old boxing. Come on, man. What are we doing? Even though it's Mike Tyson. Even if it's Mike Tyson. But I would love to see if it wasn't scripted, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to be. I'm pretty sure that it's going to be. Triton Bean Goated says, I wonder if Steelers are going to do something at wide receiver. I think they're going to draft one. I'd rather go with Jackson Powers at 20, if I'm being honest. I don't know that they need to do that early. The wide receiver is a concern now that they got rid of Deontay Johnson, which I didn't like that move. I didn't like it. Unless he was that big of an issue in the locker room, and maybe it was. Maybe that lack of effort did more damage than what we know inside the locker room, which it kind of seems like it did. Because you know how the Steelers are. The Steelers will put up a lot from wide receivers, but once it becomes too much, they get rid of you. So maybe it became too much of you. I mean, and we all saw it. That was horrible. So, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's just what it is. But we'll see. We will absolutely see. But yeah, I think the Steelers got to go offensive line or cornerback first. You know, they can get a receiver. There's a lot of receivers, a lot of good receivers in this draft. They can go get some later on. And I think that's what they do. Concentrate on getting those positions right first. And then move on. And then move on. So, hold on. There's a comment up here. Let me get back to it on YouTube. Do you have any upsets for the men's basketball tournament today? With Duke and Creighton both losing, which those were two big upsets yesterday. Marquette barely getting through last night. Well, in the Big 12, it's basically got to chalk. You know, the top four seeds made it to the semifinals. So if Houston loses, which I don't think they will, I think they blow out Texas Tech. The only upset that I might see is maybe Baylor beating Iowa State, but I don't know how much of an upset that is. In the SEC, I think Kentucky's going to win the whole thing. But I could see Kentucky losing it today. Kentucky is the team. They can win the NCAA tournament. They can win the whole thing. But I could also see them losing in the second round. So that's what I think. So I would love to see some upsets today in the conference tournament. This is my favorite time of the year, people. March Madness plus NFL free agency. Does it get a whole lot better? And I'm just asking for all seriousness. Does it get a whole lot better? Which reminds me, YouTube, go to bigbmerch.com and pick you up a Big B March Madness guide. It is literally $5. It's an ebook. It's cheap. You can download it right to your phone, iPad, laptop. It gives you analytics on who to be looking for, what teams to be looking for, and why. What coaches to possibly be looking for, and why. Trends that you need to help you win your bracket. It gives you those analysis and all of that. Same thing, TikTok. Go pick you up one. The link is in my bio. Not to mention, on TikTok, if you subscribe, then all you need to do is use the promo code and you get it free. So it's very simple. One of the two. Either use the promo code and get it free if you subscribe, or you can just click on the Linktree link in my bio and go buy it. Either one. but it's $5. We're not talking $10. We're not talking $20. Everybody's got $5. And don't get me wrong, I'm not counting anybody's money, but everybody could use it. Go pick you up a Big B March Madness guide. It will help you win brackets. Because we're going to have a Big B bracket challenge. Y'all do know that, right? You know that for sure. Because that's coming. That is absolutely coming. And we'll open that up on Monday. And don't worry, I know the first rounds games are on Tuesday and Wednesday. To me, those games don't count. The tournament for the Big B bracket challenge is going to start on Thursday. Before the first game on Thursday. So, let's see. Do you think Omar Khan makes a splash move soon? I don't. I think they're going to wait till the draft. I think the Steelers are going to wait till the draft. So, Raider Nation, what's good going on with us? My man Bill Myers. I think the Raiders are sitting in a good spot. I think the Raiders got their coach. They don't have their quarterback, so we'll see. I still think that they make a move. I know they got Gardner Minshew. I get that part. But do we think that Gardner Minshew is the future of the Raiders? I don't know. So, Hunter Renfrow is a sleeper free agent. Yeah, he is. Yes, he is. That could be somebody that the Steelers get, but the Steelers don't need that because they've got Calvin Austin Jr. They don't need another slot guy like that. They need a wide receiver too on the outside. That's what they need. So, and Tyler Boyd, if he wants to come, but Tyler Boyd can't be asking for no $11, $12 million a year. He's not that kind of receiver. 8, somewhere in that range. That's what Tyler Boyd is. $8 million a year. You want $8 million? Come to the Steelers. We'll pay you. You want 10, 15? No. So, my man Pat Cockrell says the real question, can Texas Tech upset Houston tonight? They look awesome against BYU. They did. I just don't think they can beat Houston. Houston looks really good. Houston is so good. But I think they get smacked around. I'm sorry, Pat. You're going to be mad at me. I think that happens, though. I do like Tech in the tournament. I think Tech is a Sweet 16 team, though, for sure. For sure. So, let's see. My man Rob Johnson. Steelers probably get Keon Coleman or Brian Thomas Jr. If it's in the second round, but if it's earlier than that, no, I don't like it. I don't like the Steelers going receiver with the first pick this year. I don't like that. I don't like that at all, actually. They got other needs. And now receiver's a big one, don't get me wrong, but there's so many receivers in this draft that you can get a starter in the second or third round. You can. But they got to fix the line. They got to get a replacement for Dan Moore. I mean, either that or they're going to move Broderick Jones over to left tackle and figure this thing out. But they got to get the line right. They got to get a center. They need a center more than anything. So that's where the Steelers need to go and get that fixed. So we'll see. We will see. My man Triton said he wanted us to pick up Curtis Samuel. Yeah, and Curtis Samuel didn't get a ton. He got more. He didn't get as much as I thought he would get. So, yeah, and you're right. That's what I'm saying. Yes, the price was without a doubt doable. Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. He didn't get as much as I thought he would. The Steelers were in that. They should have been anyway. Should have been. But we'll see. We'll see. Do you think the Big 12 championship game will be Houston versus Iowa State round 3, or does Baylor beat? I think Baylor beats Iowa State. I think Baylor shoots down Iowa State and wins. That's what I'm hoping for. I like Baylor. I like Scott Drew. Scott Drew recruited me when I was in high school to go to Valparaiso with Bryce Drew and his dad. I remember Scott Drew. I like Scott Drew. I think he's an outstanding coach. Although that talk about him going to Louisville, he ain't going to Louisville. I love Louisville. You see my shirt. I have no idea who Louisville's going to hire, but it ain't going to be Scott Drew. I can tell you that right now. It ain't going to be Scott Drew. So my man Hooligan says, Mims in the first, Frazier in the second. The only thing about Mims, is he going to last that long? I know there's a bunch of tackles. If we can get Mims at 20, I would be overjoyed. I'm just not sure he's going to last that long. So, but hopefully he does. We're going to shut this one down, people, today. I appreciate everybody being here, man. Thank you guys for being in here today. Again, as always, Big B Daily. We're Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time, live on TikTok, live on YouTube. And TikTok, I would make your way over to YouTube. We don't know if it's going to shut down. Again, just give me a follow, click the link in the bio, and come subscribe. There's going to be a lot over there. So please give it an opportunity. You get access to a lot. Big B, obviously the podcast that I do, any of these lives that you don't catch live, you can always come back and watch them. Hot Soup Fantasy Football, LTB Sports, you get access to their platforms and everything that they do. Hot Soup, I'm assuming, will probably get started up in the next couple of weeks talking fantasy football stuff. It may be after the draft. That he gets it going again. We're going to have to start looking at it. So he'll be up. You get free access to all of that. Again, subscribing on YouTube is free, people. So all of that is free. So come on over. Come get you some. More importantly, people, continue to go to the link in my bio and pick you up a March Madness guide to pick winners in March Madness. It will help you. It gives you the analytics, the breakdowns, the trends, coaches, teams, all of that good stuff that you need to help win. Thank you guys, man. I'll holler at you, everybody. We will be back Monday. Good to see you guys. Great week, and aloha.